Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of the DATEABLE podcast. We are Yue and Julie, your dating Sherpas, and we are here to help you through this tough time of modern dating. And it's always been a tough time. It's never been easy, but it shouldn't be easy. It should be a little bit hard. If it were so easy to find love, then love wouldn't be that coveted.
No, there's a reason why we have this podcast. It does make me laugh a little every time you say dating Sherpa in a good way. It gives a little chuckle. But I think it is important. And I agree that sometimes we want to just shortcut to the end. But, all the stuff that we learn along the way is so valuable into how we show up as a partner and what we're looking for and the relationships we have. And I think this is why we really want to do this topic today with Yue's friend Rob. So we're like, we need to get Rob on this podcast because I met him when we did an epic night in New York. Do you remember that night? We're like,
how can I forget?
Go to dinner, be home by 10, 4 a.m. we rolled in, I think. After
your uncle's like, where
club.
Have you been?
Yeah. So there was an epic night and I loved Rob from that minute, and we did a hula hoop challenge with him on his YouTube channel, which was also my other interaction with Rob. But you've known Rob for years.
I've known Rob for a very long time. I've known him since we were wild single babies in New York City, and I love that guy, and it's so fun to see his evolution. We're both the same age, even though he claims that he's older than me. We're literally the same age. And
you corrected him. She's like, I'm the exact same age as you.
He always talks to me like, I'm older than you. I'm like, no, you're not. You are the exact same age. We're both 41.
He's like, I'm 1 month older than you.
Yeah. But it's so wonderful to have friends in your life where you stay friends even though you're different people now. And I feel like we are different people now. I mean, the times that I've spent with Rob in New York City were the times that I were blackout drunk. So I don't even remember those times. I do not remember what happened during those times. But now I think as we are approaching our 40s, and it's just been nice to see things kind of change and progress. And this is what this conversation is all about. It's kind of like how you see your love life and dating and relationships differently in every stage of your life.
Yeah. I mean, I love this conversation because I think we can all relate no matter what age we are. It's who we are today is not who we were yesterday. And that's a good thing. I'm glad I'm not the way I am when I was in my 20s. But I think looking back on it, and of course this is like hindsight's 2020, it's always easier in retrospect. I think a lot of the times that I thought I was ready for a relationship, I wasn't. And what I viewed a relationship to be was basically it was, I think in my 20s, I was just looking for someone that would go out and party with me, with my friends.
Yeah.
That isn't really what a relationship is at all. And I think looking back on it too, even my most serious relationship before my current partner, I thought, this was going to be the person I married. We were so connected, intertwined. And I realized we were not whatsoever. Now that I've seen the next progression of what a relationship can mean, we were essentially living separate lives and would see each other when it was fun and convenient. And the hard times, it was always a push to make this relationship work. Where I feel my current partner, we were joking that we wish we would have met each other 10 years ago. But then we're we couldn't because we wouldn't have found each other. One, I don't know if we would have, just where we were in life, we were ready for each other, but also what we wanted out of a partnership. And I think just we met each other when we were both looking for someone that we could share our lives with. And that's what we're doing. And honestly, it's changed my whole perception of what a relationship could be, because I think I needed all these years to get to this place, and this podcast, to be quite frank. This podcast definitely changed my way of thinking, but to get to the place that I am today.
And quite frankly, your relationship's going to look different in 5 years, 10 years from now. Yeah. And that's the exciting part of all of this, is you only know what you know. So right now, you know what a relationship is based on what you previously know. And then in 5 years, you're going to be like, wow, 5 years ago, I didn't know this about being in a relationship. And I agree. I think there are some relationships I've been in where looking back, I'm like, that was not a relationship. I lived with someone for 8 months and I can't recall a single deep conversation that we had. We were just roommates who were having sex with each other. So it's, even if you're in a stage right now, maybe you're just starting dating, don't worry that you don't know the holistic picture of what a relationship is or should be. It doesn't matter. Go through what you need to go through right now because you just keep on building on that relationship knowledge.
Yeah, we talk with Rob and we'll go into way more details about just, how you can start to look at like all the people that were in your path before as necessary. And, no relationship is wasted time. I really believe like even what you just said, Yue, it's like now you know that you need someone that you're going to get into the deep shit with, right? Like that's not enough. And I think we need to go through these experiences. There's one side that we can, get super clear of what we're looking for. And I think that's equally as important. But we also do need some of that real life experience to justify if what we think is actually what we need.
Ah, so true. That's why I'm so excited that we're having this conversation with Rob. And I'm so excited we're kicking off Pride Month.
Yeah.
Beginning of June. Here we go. Perfect time to do it. Rob can speak to his experience as a gay man in New York City, which was very fun. But all of this is to, we said goodbye to API Heritage Month last month. And I think at the root of this, and Julie, I'm still having a hard time processing everything that's been happening in the world, especially with the Texas school shooting. And I think at the end of it all, the root of all of this is hate. There's just so much hate. And I'm speaking out loud about this because I'm still, talking to my partner about it. I'm like, it's affecting me in ways I never thought it would. And I realize that what we really need is just open communication. And so when we have these talks like last week with Janet, speaking as an Asian American woman dating in the US, and then today we've got Rob dating as a gay man on the East Coast, it's not about us trying to relate, but it's about us just caring, just giving a fuck. Yeah. All we need to do is just give a fuck about other people. And when we give a fuck about other people, we don't hate people. We start to build empathy and love for others. And I really just encourage, I'm saying this as words of encouragement for myself, is that when I speak to others who I may not relate to, and that is absolutely fucking okay. I just need to be open and open my heart to other people and learn from them and just talk. That's it. Openly talk to them.
I think learn is the key word. And, you don't have to know what to say. You don't even have to say anything if the situation doesn't call for it. I think a lot of times people just want to be seen and heard. So that's a big piece of it. I think sometimes we avoid certain situations or conversations because we don't know how to respond. And we don't always need a response. So I think just letting go of that is first and foremost. And I agree. If we can change the way we interact with people as always trying to seek connection, even if we feel like we have nothing in common. I'm thinking out loud, and it could be many different scenarios, but I just feel like there's so much with Republican versus Democrats. So taxing, and it's just getting to be too much. And I brought up this recall a few times now, but a lot of times it's just that this is a Republican fueled effort. And it's no, this is a public safety thing. And I mean, if we're going to talk about that, 90% of San Francisco is Democrats, and there's a reason why this is happening.
Yes.
So I just am so sick of that being it needs to be either or, and we're always pitted against each other. And this carries through with racism or just not understanding, or we're so self-absorbed too. I think there's a piece of, if this doesn't relate to me, it's not worth it. But the more we can lose that mentality, that's just going to help us connect on dates too. This me versus you mentality has got to go.
Yeah, this winning and losing. Why can't we all just win? It doesn't mean that there needs to be losers. And I think that's what politics really brings out in people is that they have to win, that someone has to lose. What if there's a win-win scenario? My partner actually taught me this because he does a lot of business negotiations. He's like, I never want to take advantage of the other person. I want to find a win-win scenario. And that is the best scenario of all. So I feel like this idea of us being different is not exactly the right way to go about doing things, because we're not different. We're all the same, just wearing different meat suits. I love this term, meat suits. And we're all the same on the inside. And I truly believe we can find that connection with other people. And this hate is really tearing us apart. We're killing our own children. What the fuck? Like, here's us having a podcast about dating, and you all, you're complaining about how hard it is to date. We are so fucking lucky that we got a chance to date. These kids didn't even have a chance to date and find a romantic partner. That is just completely devastating and heartbreaking to even think about.
It's crazy. I want to pull up something in our Facebook group. While we're talking about hate, let's flip it to joy. But I think this really made me, and I think it relates to this conversation too, of accepting people for who they are and seeing the beauty in the difference. I love what your boyfriend said, the win-win mentality. How can we both win and not pit each other and have this competition feeling? So Sarah posted in our Facebook group, just passing along something related to online dating in case it helps others. Turn off most of your filters, truly, even for things you think are deal breakers. I did this before I moved to Chicago and connected with someone deeply over my last several months before moving. I still move, which was heartbreaking, but I'm so grateful. One of the takeaways was that it taught me to use fewer filters. Yes. Once in Chicago, I used fewer filters again, and one important one I left off by accident, and had so many more legit conversations. I'm dating someone now, and it's still early, a few months in, but I credit using fewer filters to our connecting. A couple of things I thought were deal breakers aren't. I'm still not compromising either. Maybe run an experiment and see what happens. Good luck.
Yes, preach.
Yes, and I love this because I feel like, we talk about dating with intentionality in this episode too. And I always feel like that is the key, but what does that mean? It's so vague when you say it. And Rob definitely helps break it down a bit more. But I think with intentionality, sometimes we think we need to get this list so finely tuned that we know exactly what we're looking for. And we need to make this list so finely tuned. But I think a big part of intentionality is getting really clear on what matters. And I think oftentimes that's actually less is more in that situation, and having this open attitude and just seeing someone for who they are and not making them fit into a certain box you're trying to get them in. That's when the connection can happen.
It's so exciting. I use that word a lot, but it's true. It's so exciting. When you keep your filters open, you really don't know who you're going to meet. But when you keep all those filters on, you almost can predict exactly the types of people you're going to see on the apps. So isn't it more exciting to not know what you could get? It's like dating roulette. You just don't know. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. There's a comment that said, that reminded me of a quote I heard: "You're not lowering your standards, you're expanding your horizon."
Ooh.
And I love that so much.
That's so good. We should post that on Instagram. Make it into a pretty quote.
So I think this is hand in hand with the conversation that we're going to go into today. And we invite everyone to reflect back on their own past and see how you can use this episode to gain that intentionality and see how you've been growing throughout this time. Announcements. We mentioned the last couple episodes that we are relaunching the Finding Your Person program, our flagship program, and so excited to bring in another cohort. We do have a video series that kind of explains what this program is and gives you some tips here and there. So before you even get into it, you can learn more and arm yourself with some techniques and, pushing yourself out of I think this is, again, the perfect episode that really shows that sometimes we get in our own ways and we need to start to think differently. So pushing you out of your own way and helping you reframe how to approach dating. But check out findingyourperson.com to add yourself, get those videos, and then also be the first to know about when the program launches, because we do have limited spots and waitlist members will get it a day early.